Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's Jeffrey with Howells Carpet Cleaning, and we got ourselves a duplex today. This is the first on the series of jobs that we're doing. We're doing both sides actually, and both sides are identical. We already went through and we did phase one of our cleaning, which includes a very thorough pre-vacuum. There was quite a bit of sitting debris on here, along with a bunch of dirt and sand and grit and stuff that's in the carpeting that if you don't remove it, it will cause the carpets to wear out much faster. So between the two sides, we were able to pull out an entire Kirby bag, and we're talking about 2 bedrooms, this little tiny hallway and front room area. So that's quite a bit of debris for these 2 units. Anyways, what we're going to do is our 3-stage cleaning process, which includes a vacuum. We will be doing mechanical agitation because mechanical agitation works much better than manual agitation, CRB. Plus, it's going to be a lot easier in here because it is one level. If it was multi-levels, I may weigh that and say, you know what, I don't really want to be carrying my CRB up and down the stairs. So, you kind of pick and choose, look at the dirt accumulation, check out the Kirby bag or your vacuum bag that you're using. I use a Kirby because it is probably one of the better vacuums that are out there. Pick this guy up off of Craigslist. This is a latest generation. I think it's a Gen 10. And it was literally $200. And I think that because it was a private sale, they were just trying to dump it probably because it was too heavy. High-pressured salespeople come to the door and they run their little guilt trips, and people end up buying crap that they don't need. And you end up finding it on Craigslist for like next to nothing. So this was someone that was at the coast. So when I took a trip down to the coast one weekend, picked it up. These things retail starting out at around $3,500. So I figured getting it brand new, it looked like it had only been used a couple times. For $200, I was pretty much getting a steal of a deal. It came with the boxes and all the attachments and hoses and lines and carpet cleaners and shampooers and all that stuff, which I don't use for that anyways. I only use it for doing the carpets. In fact, I don't even use a stairway attachment. There's a handle that you can put on there. Take that one off and click on a little handle to do stairways, but as you've seen in my other videos, I already have a different vac that I use for stairways, just because it's easier to come in here with my stair tools inside of a box and just unload stuff in the box, plug it in and start going without having to switch around attachments and all that. So this is my floor unit. It's always ready to go. Clean it out, once a week, once a month, a couple times a month, whatever. Make sure the beater bar is cleaned, and it all depends on how often it gets used. But as you can imagine, this thing picks up a lot of dirt, so I'm constantly checking it because your beater bar gets full of hair and strings and that sort of stuff. It does stifle the airflow, and then it's not able to work as properly. So do your pre-vacuum, get all that stuff out of here. Then what we're going to do after phase 1 is completed, move on to phase 2, which is applying our pre-spray onto the carpets. And we are going to be using mechanical agitation with our CRB just to groom the carpets well with that cleaning solution. And then once it has sufficient dwell time and is in the carpet, sufficient dwell time is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. Which, if you start in one room and you start pre-spraying and then you go through and you agitate, by the time you get through, it's been dwelling there for about 30 minutes. So then you move into phase 3, which is our powerful truck-mounted steam cleaning. We run our lines and hoses into the house and we begin our extraction process. And then the carpets are absolutely beautiful. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and move on to phase 2 with our pre-spray. And I'm going to go ahead and stage our CRB and get it ready to go. Alright, so moving on to phase 2, what we're going to be using is some sodium carbonate that I had left up over from yesterday. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put it down heavily just because I want to get rid of it in the bedrooms. And because the front room is a little bit more soiled, I'm going to pull out a little bit something a little bit stronger, a little bit higher pH. Typically I've got my own reasons for why I do pH stuff the way I do. And it's all chemically and chemistry and valid and all that. But anyways, so we will be doing our mechanical agitation using our CRB. I just have it staged right here at the moment. I take the front tray off so we can get as close to the wall as we possibly can without running into it. Some people like to take it sideways and run it along like this. I don't, because I think it becomes a scraping hazard at that point. I try not to touch any woodwork or baseboards at all if possible. So we'll go ahead, we'll pre-spray, we'll agitate, we'll probably pre-spray both of these bedrooms and then go ahead and CRB both of them just so that they're done, ready to go. And then we'll see about doing the front room, CRB in that, and then we'll fire up our truck and start running our lines and hoses and stuff in. And we did run our truck for about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes this morning just to get things heated up, because on my cold start it takes forever to start heating water up on my particular unit. So I like to try to nip that in the bud a little bit by giving a little bit of a head start so that I'm not having to wait around for the mercury to rise. But generally when it gets to about 180 degrees, I just go ahead and start, because by the time we get going and all that, it'll have reached 200. But as you know, when there's a load on the blower and it's having to work that vacuum, that's generally what causes the water to heat up faster. So when we first start and we're running our hoses up, we usually will plug the blower just so that there's a pretty heavy load on the machine to get that water up to temperature quite a bit faster, and then it'll be ready to go once we get our lines plugged in. And this morning we will be running our rotovac. I'll point that out here in just a moment. Just because these are older carpets, they are, I'm sure they're well beyond their warranty, and so I feel that in this situation, a rotovac, rotary tool, a little bit more water, probably a rinse, it might leave the carpets a little bit more damp. However, we do have a fan that we are going to set up, but that will ensure that we get the maximum amount of debris and what contaminants out of the carpeting as possible. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we've completed phase 2, which is our pre-spray application. We agitated using our mechanical agitation of the CRB. Now we're going to go back and complete phase 3 using our rotovac here. Mechanical agitation tool. This is basically a rotary machine. Old school rotovac. I've seen some of you guys on Facebook using these things because I can tell by the patterns that we're using the carpet. An excellent tool, gets excellent agitation, especially on older carpets that need a little bit of restoration love. We're going to go over it with this. We're going to give it a good rinse. It is very good at extracting water. If you give it a good dry pass, it will extract upwards of 80 to 90% of the water that you use to rinse the carpets. Perhaps more, 95% is what they claim. Due to dry times between this and the wand, I really don't experience much of any difference between the two. So it does a really good job of extracting the water out. But we're going to go ahead and move right along here. Alright, let's take a look at what we've accomplished here today. I'm going to go ahead and go next door and do the same thing over there. It is already vacuumed, so we just have to pre-spray, agitate, and extract. And I put the fan on there, dry. The carpets are barely wet to the touch, but the fan will help these out awesomely. I'm going to go ahead and take the truck off because it is already hot and warm, and then just let it run. Well, actually, I'll put it down to an idle just so that it keeps the water warm and circulating while we are pre-spraying. Hey you guys, thanks for watching today's video, and if you're able to learn something or glean anything, I ask that you please like and subscribe to my video channel. And if you have one yourself, just leave a comment below and I'll be sure to like and subscribe to yours as well. Just because YouTube has changed some of their monetization. You gotta have 1,000 subscribers now. And it was kind of nice because it was offsetting a little bit of my expenses, and now it's completely gone. So any of you other guys trying to do the same thing, I'd be glad to help you out the same way that we appreciate you watching my video and leaving comments. Thank you very much and have a great day.